I'm busting at the seams, speaking of seamless, right? I'm busting at the seams because there's nothing more happier and healthier, right, than just getting out and breathing some of that good air, right? Just being outdoors. And our next guest, let me get out of here. Our next guest is all set up and prepared. Ooh, I made it. To show me how I can go camping and live that outdoorsy life. I'd like to welcome to Living 7x7. You mind if I take a seat, Jessica
Please do.
Bowser? You are the host of the podcast. This is a Virginia Outdoor Adventures podcast. You're an expert in hiking and just being outdoors.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Virginia Outdoor Adventures podcast is all about outdoor recreation. You can get the information and the inspiration to plan your own adventure right here in Virginia.
Gotcha. Well, I see that you are all, you got the boots and like, what's in that container there?
Right now, just water, because you want to make sure you stay hydrated.
Yes, so staying hydrated is very important. So when it does come down to hiking and being outdoors in the 757, or just around, what are the best places to go around this time of year?
Well, I always recommend that people start with our state parks because our state parks are absolutely beautiful. There are 2 in Virginia Beach and 5 more within a 90-minute drive of the Virginia Beach area. So there's actually 6.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there are 2 in Virginia Beach and 4 more. So 6 Virginia State Parks within a 90-minute drive. And Virginia State Parks has something called Trail Quest, which is every time you visit a park, you have the opportunity to log that information on the Virginia State Parks website and receive pins for the number of parks that you visit. And once you have visited all parks, you get a master hiker certificate and a pin, and it is all presented to you by a ranger at a park of your choice.
So you mean to tell me I am like how many parks?
42 altogether in the
So you mean
States.
to tell me I am 42 pins short?
You better get started.
I mean, you know what? I've had a chance to visit a few of those parks, and these are beautiful, beautiful sights to see around Virginia and the 757. Now, what are some of the tips that people should, people like myself? I had a horrible Boy Scout experience camping, and I don't have enough time to go into that story. So what are some important tips that other people can learn and have?
Sure. So I always encourage people to get as much information as they can before they get started. So if there's a place you're going to visit, be sure that you go on the website, download a map because you don't want to rely on your cell phone.
Right.
Cell phones are sometimes unreliable. The battery can die. You could be in a place without cell service. Also familiarize yourself with the 10 essentials. And if you don't know what the 10 essentials are, there are 10 things that you should always have with you to help keep you safe. And they are things like a first aid kit or a headlamp, for example. Like if you're out hiking and you don't get back before dark, you're going to need something to be able to see in the dark.
Something that will attract the wolves to see where their prey is.
Well,
Really?
we don't have wolves anymore in Virginia.
Anymore. Who took them out?
That's a whole nother story.
Nice. Okay, got you. So you got to head it. So what type of equipment should we always be prepared with?
Well, you want to start with your clothing. So you want to make sure that you have clothing that's appropriate. Usually around this time of year, that means wearing layers.
Okay.
And so we want to make sure that we have sweat wicking materials on. I always recommend long pants like what I have on now, even in summer, because we want to protect ourselves against ticks and tick-borne diseases.
Wow.
And you're going to want to make sure you have plenty of food and water and things that will make you comfortable in the outdoors.
So there was an image there that we just saw where there was a tent on top of a vehicle. Are those like is that normal? Like to not just set up camp on ground, like you set it up on higher ground? Is that to protect you?
If you have the right type of vehicle and a rooftop tent, you don't want to put this tent on top of a car, but there are rooftop tents, yes.
Rooftop tents, okay, gotcha. So what type of like with sparking a fire or starting up a fire, like what type of tool do they use? Is it sticks?
A book of matches works really great.
You know what? We have now come into the modern era. They have matches now. Yeah, but I mean, like when I was a Boy Scout, it was like, oh, we got to do the sticks. And that I never lit a fire.
Some
ever.
people still do that.
Really?
Yeah, some people still do that.
Okay. So now with you being an expert and you have a great podcast, tell us like some of the subjects that you guys cover on that podcast.
So some of the more popular topics are always hiking and camping and paddling, but I try to cover all outdoor recreation. I want to familiarize people with Virginia because there's so much more to do here than just hiking and camping. So for example, ice climbing or whale watching or caving, backpacking, mountain biking. There's so much to do.
So much to do. And lastly, before we get out of here, what type of animals should we be more familiar with in the Virginia area?
The thing that you should probably be most concerned about are ticks.
Ticks.
Otherwise, you don't have too much to be worried about.
No bears, no tigers, oh my.
Well,
nothing?
those animals are out there, but they're going to leave you alone if you leave them alone.
You know what? That's what the people say who have never been attacked. All right, cool. Perfect. So where can people follow you and get more information?
Well, people can follow Virginia Outdoor Adventures Podcast. It can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want to learn more, you can follow us on social media. I'm on Instagram at Virginia_outdoor_adventures, or Facebook at VAOA Podcast, or the website is virginiaoutdooradventures.com.
There you go. You already know who you are. Now go ahead and take a swig of that because you may be dehydrated now. We got to go to commercial break, but when we come back, we're actually going to see Malika Harris perform live in studio. So stay right there. Thank you, and thank you so much. I certainly appreciate you.